Tanse, Rebecca Tootoosis, Netsigasun Saddle Lake Cree Nation, Ochinia. Hello, my name is Rebecca Tootoosis. I come from Saddle Lake Cree Nation, which is in Alberta. Um, and yeah, I feel like I moved to Saskatchewan when I was like 12-ish and lived on the reserve for a little bit. And then PA and Sturgeon Lake were kind of like home. That's where my mom's from. And then her other half of her is from James Smith, and she grew up there. But prior to coming to Saskatchewan, I lived in a Métis community. My dad is Métis, and it's called Buffalo Lake. I want to say Cree, but it's not Cree. Buffalo Lake Métis settlement. And yeah, we grew up there. Went to school in a little community over there too, just outside of the settlement. And yeah, aside from where I'm connected from, I am a proud mom. I am a proud auntie, sister, wife, dog mom. I had to add that in because I love my little guy so much. Um, and just newly, recently came into business.
Mm,
Um, and a recent graduate of the Edwards School of Business.
mm,
Yeah, so I got my BCom, and I'm really proud of that because I feel like that in itself, education was really hard for me to. I wasn't sure, like my path in education was different, right? And so I obviously I had a kid at a really young age, me and Mike, and we after we had Sean, well, I dropped out of school, so did he. He had to work and had to take care of baby. And when Sean was about 2, I was like, man, I need to do something with my life. I don't want to just be a mom. I want to be something bigger, but I also want to show my son that we can do something. Um, and that we could be somebody. And I'm gonna go all over the map here, but I just feel like as a kid myself, being this little indigenous girl, I didn't have a dream because my dreams were to survive.
mm,
Yeah, survive through a lot of stuff that I grew up in. I grew up around addictions. I grew up around alcoholism. I grew up around sickness. I grew up around generational trauma, like everything, all of that. So fast forward to wanting to do something with my life, I went back to school. I got my grade 12 and then worked for a while, kind of in retail a little bit. And then um, I was in this business for like, oh, I think like 4.5 years. And I dabbled a little bit in like marketing, not too much, just a little bit. And then a little bit also in accounting and then administration and warranty. So I kind of like knew the business, kind of like how that flowed through a company. And so I was like, maybe this is what I like. Maybe this is what I want to do. So I went back to school and I said, I want to go for accounting. So I went back to school for accounting and I didn't like it.
mhm,
So I was like, dang, what am I going to do? Um, and then I liked management. So management, you kind of get a little bit of everything. You get the marketing, you get the finance, you get the accounting, you get the management leadership as well as economic from like a macro and a micro scale too to see that. Didn't like economics at all. But I understand it, right? And it's important to kind of understand so that you can kind of position your business in a strategic way. Um, but I was like, what am I going to do with my business degree? What am I now fast forward to just June here in 2025. Um, so I'm like, hey, I graduated. Now what? Like, what do I do? And so I have these like ever since like in school, I'd talk to me and my husband had these conversations. Oh, we should do this, and we're like, we dream big. And I'm like, I don't know what that's gonna look like yet, but I want to do it. And so there's just so much things that I want to do as an entrepreneur. I love making stuff,
mm,
but I also want to help people and being just coming from the background that I came from, because obviously everybody comes from their own challenges and their own differences and their own ways of life and ways of knowing and living. I I want to use that and like help people because I didn't have that support. I didn't have enough of it growing up. Um, and so if I could support people, like even young moms, young families in community to like help them better their lives, then I want to do that. I think that's really important to we need to lift up our indigenous communities. And I
Hmm.
think that's where my head's at. I have kind of an idea of what that's going to look like, but to execute it, life is just so busy.
Yeah.
um, and then my current position right now, where I work, is I work with I'm an Indigenous cultural coordinator at the Gordon Oaks Red Bear Student Center with the University of Saskatchewan, and so that right there, I prayed for that. I prayed hard for that. Prior to that, I was working with Creative Fire, and they're a consulting, an Indigenous owned and operated consulting company, and it just wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing, and I'm happy I tried it. It when I first started that job, I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, this is gonna be awesome," like, Indigenous engagement and, like, doing all these things and supporting that way and learning it. And then when I got there, I was doing a lot of administration stuff, which is great. Like, I'm used to that kinda stuff, but I'm like, "Is this what I really want? Is this what I really wanna do with my life?" And normally, prior to, like, my healing journey and kind of stepping into that journey, I was, uh I was just like a, "Just do it. Just do it. Stick it out. Don't speak up. Don't like your feelings don't matter," kind of thing. Like, just don't listen to those instincts that you're feeling because it was so easy to shut that and like push it down because I needed income, right? And there was a lot of times when I was younger that I had to like just put up or shut up kind of thing. And I know it's such a toxic way of thinking, but I need to provide, right? And so did my husband. And yeah, and I stuck it out for about 8 months. And I'm like, I kind of struggled with that because I'm like, this is not who I am. I don't just quit. I don't give up. And I think there's also an unhealthy um, mindset or culture around that don't give up because I think that you can give up if something's not right for you. You can change that path for yourself. You can kind of direct it in a different way that makes you feel good, that fits into your life, that makes you feel like you have a purpose. And so that's kind of where I was at in that career journey of mine. And um, I think this role now has just been so fulfilling. And sometimes my director is amazing. He's such an amazing person. My whole team, like we're small, but we're strong and we get stuff done. And um, yeah, we always joke and I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, why did I pray for this? And it's like, but it's just like, it's a fulfilling role. It's such a fulfilling role in terms of like supporting Indigenous students in their educational journeys and they're helping them navigate. Oh, maybe they don't know how to do a job interview. Then we support them
Hmm.
through that, right? Not necessarily our team, but we have um we have another team that we can collaborate and support them in that journey. Maybe they want to be connected to culture and that's where I step in and like I can help them and support them in that way with we call it the wise ones. And it's just like a team of elders, knowledge keepers who support that cultural vision on campus. So yeah, sorry, I went on a tangent. I know.
No, that's good.
But yeah, that's a little bit about me and where I am today and where I was when but oh my god, it's
No,
been a journey.
that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome because like I don't really know you.
Yeah.
We just bump into each other all the
Yeah.
time. And I know like the reason I asked you to come on because when I worked out with Mike and Mac
Yeah.
I don't know 2 or 3 weeks ago, I asked them because you're like you just seem good. Like you seem like a good
Mm.
person. but like you also seem like you have a lot of power. Like you're very
Oh,
powerful, you
thank
know,
you.
in your energy. Like I can feel you
Mhm.
when you're around me. You know, you just like give good energy off.
Oh, thank
And I'm like, that
you.
comes from somewhere or something
Mhm.
for you to become that kind of person. So I'm like, I wonder if she would want to come on the podcast and then just like see.
Mhm.
Uh, and then when I asked him, he said, yeah, I think she would. Okay, well, I'm going to message her.
I know, and thank
So,
you so much for asking me to be here because what you're doing too is like you're giving people a platform to tell their stories, and that's
mhm,
so beautiful, and I think that's like you said, um, people need to be heard,
yeah,
and I think that's really beautiful in itself, and it's crazy that you say that, because I'm like, it's hard to see that in yourself.
yeah.
You know, it's really hard to kind of reflect and see yourself through other people's lenses. Like my sister, she's my best friend, and Mac's wife,
Mm.
like that's my sister, and it's crazy. Like she tells me these things about me, and I'm like, what? Huh? How? Just kidding. I don't see that. Just kidding.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. One more time. But yeah, it's like really hard, and I think a lot of people like it. I think it's different because a lot of people love to hear that stuff about themselves, and I'm just not one to. It's beautiful. Like, thank you so much for your comments and all that, but it's like, no, stop.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's hard, and I think that the journey that I'm on right now in terms of healing, um, has led me into this different path that like I never. I don't know. It's weird. Like I could never think that I'd be here or like be on this path and like still I know times when I'm on this I'm on this journey and then all of a sudden you get a challenge or there's a bump in the road. I'm like, man, before I want to give up and I don't want to,
Mm.
but now I'm just like, no, it's just a little bump in the road. We can get through this. We can push through. We'll persevere and whatever happens happens and we got each other and we'll figure this out and that's how Mike is. And I used to get so mad and I'm like, why are you so positive? I'm
Yeah,
hurting
yeah.
or I'm angry or I'm sad and like cry with me. Just
Yeah.
kidding. But like,
You even care?
do you even care? Like, you're not even validating my feelings. It's so sad. But no, it's and I think a lot of that strength comes from him too.
Mm.
And seeing that, yeah, like, cause he does, he's like, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. And I'm like, how can you say that? We're not going to be okay. And I'm spiraling in my head. But at the end of the day, we end up being okay. We're
Yeah.
fine. And it just ends up being like really good at the end. Like sometimes the results are amazing, sometimes they're not.
Right.
But yeah, no, the journey's been crazy. Like crazy, crazy. And but good and beautiful and healing in so many different ways and getting to know who I am as a person and then being able to be like, maybe I am that way that that person sees me. Maybe I
Mhm.
am those things
You are.
and just start crying. But yeah, like it's hard. But it's beautiful again. And I don't know, I'm just really grateful.
It's interesting too because sometimes people see like most people only see like pieces of you,
Mhm.
and a lot of the things that stand out to somebody is something that they want to be,
Mhm.
or they want to become or they want to work on or so like that's why they notice it in you,
Mhm.
you know? So it's like even that is like it's like just take the compliment,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because like that person
Mhm.
maybe needs you for something,
Mhm.
needs you to help them or needs you to get them going somewhere, and
Mhm.
sometimes when you underplay it,
Mhm.
it might not be that because that's what I do that all the time.
Yeah.
When people compliment me, I'm always like, well, like I'm an idiot for one, you know, like,
Yeah.
because like I feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Mhm.
You know, like I'm not
Yeah.
some genius. I'm not some like pedal to the floor, hard working,
Yeah.
20 hours a day. Like I'm not, I'm just pretty average at most things. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm good at boxing.
Yeah.
Everything else, just like, so it's, I truly believe if I can build a good life for myself, anyone can build a good life for themselves. Because when I see other people, I'm like, well, you're way smarter than me. You're
Mhm.
way whatever than I am. You just
Yeah.
you just don't believe in yourself as much as I believe in myself.
Mhm. Or believe in yourself as much as others believe in you,
Right.
you
That
know?
too.
Mhm.
I say that to a lot of my friends. I say, if you saw yourself the way I see you, you'd be able to do anything.
That's what my sister says to me.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could just take my eyes and put them on you and see
Yes.
how I see you through my eyes, and sometimes that used to make me cry, but I just was like, "You're right." Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do believe in the things that you believe in me, you know? And I think it comes with too, like, imposter syndrome. Even you asking me to be here on this podcast, I'm like, "Why me? Why? I don't have nothing to say. Like, I don't have nothing to talk about. Like, what the heck?" And I told my husband that, and he's like, "You have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot to be proud of." And I was just like, "You're right." But, like but then I'm like, "But what are those things?" And then he just
Just
like
crosses your arms.
and then he's like, "You know, you got a lot." He's like, "You got a beautiful story." And, like, he's like, "Just talk about your journey." And so, yeah, I think that's all I can do, and just hopefully my story can resonate with somebody else and
Mm.
maybe encourage them, and one day I'll have this business, um, I guess, business model that I wanna kind of implement in the coming years set, but there's just still steps that I need to take in order to get that ready, and, um
When you think about business, because I think when I talk to, I've had a handful of indigenous business owners
Mhm,
on, and I guess for you, what is, when you think about culture,
mhm,
your indigenous culture, uh, and bringing that into business, but then your business being in a westernized world, like
mm,
have you thought about navigating
mhm.
that?
Yes, and business and culture don't mix.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. They just don't. They're 2 different worlds. Um, Business comes from a Western colonized mind frame, right? And how to do things. However, do I think that we can implement and strategize and bring in some cultural aspects to the way we do things and the way we carry out our business models and our standards and our policies and whatever? I 100% I think we can, but it's never going to always be like culture and business can never just always be like this. I think there's a lot of challenges and a lot of work that still needs to be done in terms of business. Um, but I think if you lead your business, how would I say this? I think if you lead your business in a good way with your beliefs and your own um, values and morals, and carrying a little bit of that culture that you're taught, like, cause I didn't grow up in like I didn't grow up in a very cultural environment.
Mm.
There was like my dad went to sweat and stuff because he got really sick with cancer, and so my aunt we had and I had an auntie that was very immersed in her culture in that way. My dad grew up very Catholic, and so that was like my upbringing was Catholicism, and then a little bit of culture here and there. Nothing crazy. Like as soon as I moved here, that's when I started being more immersed in it. And then having Miwan and Ben um, really support our family in that direction. And now my husband does that. Like he goes to ceremony, we go to ceremony. Um, once he's done, I plan to go because like it's hard when we have kids. You got to make sure the
Yeah.
kids are good and the camp is good. So it's not really being immersed in culture and just learning that over the years, I think will help you navigate your business framework and models in terms of where you see your business going or what you want for your business. What is the strategic vision 5 year um, model look like? Or where do you like, what are the goals? Where do you want your business to look in 3 years versus this time and that time? And how are we going to get there? Um, and how are we going to fit culture into those things? Right. And so there's so much I want to do in terms of like, in terms of the helping people one. I want to make sure that my model aligns with a lot of indigenous values, like the grandfather teachings,
Mm.
all those things. And so I know a lot of people do that. I know a thing that kind of recently came out. Um, I don't know, I can't remember what year it was, but the medicine wheel, like that wasn't, it wasn't a huge, like it wasn't a part of our culture, right? Like we didn't have that. That kind of just was developed by non-indigenous folks. And so that's the thing, like, that's where the models come in and the culture and the business and, like, aligning those things, but also, like, what's in this triangle versus this triangle and this one, like, in the 4 directions and how we go or the 4 colors, like, when people put those that medicine wheel circle together, they still try to align it with, like, what indigenous, cultures represent or maybe their values or whatever it may be, right? Um, so I think it is still a challenge. It gets messy,
Mhm.
especially yeah, I think it does. I think it gets messy, it gets hard. Um, but it's not impossible, I don't think. But I just think that it can't fully be like one together because
Yeah.
it's gonna be yeah, it's
It's
gonna be
tough
hard.
too because everyone has an opinion,
Yes.
and
Yes.
like no matter what you do, someone's gonna tell you you're not doing it
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
from their perspective. And that's like the hard part. Um
Yes.
to I guess like you need to you just need to be grounded, I guess, in your own values,
Mhm.
figure out what those are, and then build something from that because that's like the crabs in a bucket.
Mhm.
Everybody's trying to tear everyone down. So if they can find like one crack in what you're doing, they're gonna attack it.
Oh,
And it's
100%.
and it's like free.
You see that with a lot of indigenous,
Yeah.
influencers out there too.
It's
Like one mistake and it's like they're such a horrible person.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, that's a whole different thing. But um I hear what you're saying. And then being humble on that journey, right? Like there's lots of people who are not humble and I see that a lot of times and it's just like,
What is that to you? What is humility to you?
I don't know, just being kind,
Mm.
being respectful, and just being helpful, like no competition,
Yeah.
like help help each other, like support one another, lift each other up. It's just there's too much of that. Oh well, they're doing this and that's not what I like and they're gonna fail or whatever. And I don't think that's a good idea. And it's like, why? 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 I don't understand that. It's like, maybe it works for them. So yeah, there's just lots of negativity and I'm not saying negative all negativity is bad. 'Cause I do think in terms of healing, there is negativity that helps you grow, right? And so, yeah, I just think people just need to be more kind and more respectful and more supportive.
So speaking of like growing, when you first started, you said you spent a lot of time in survival mode.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you're still there, or do you feel like you've let go of that?
At times, yeah. At times I do, because you live your life in survival mode or in this state for such a long period of time. So you're used to it. And then your body and your mind kind of revert back to that same space of what you felt when something triggered you then versus how it's triggering you now. But then it's it's with all the work that you've done on yourself and the tools that you gathered from maybe counseling or therapy or whatever it is that you utilize, it helps you kind of ground yourself in a sense of like, okay, I notice this is triggering me. What do I need to do? And how do I come back from that? How do I regulate myself? How do I ground myself? Um, yeah, I think it's hard because I think sometimes I try to get stuck in that mind frame of like, oh, we're in survival mode, but we're really not. We're
Right.
really not in survival mode sometimes. And I think my husband has to really remind me a lot of times because I'm such an anxious person, like so anxious. And I feel like it got worse after COVID. But yeah, he has to remind me sometimes, like, it's gonna be okay. He'll talk me down. Like, I'm just up in this tree, and he's like, "It's okay." But um, yeah, he's one of my biggest supporters, but he's also one of my biggest um challenges in life.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he's just well, wife and husband and wife life, married life, it gets kind of hard sometimes, but aside from that, he's just been such a good support in my mental health journey. And I think when I was in survival mode back in the day, I just doing this healing journey now, I'm like, holy cow, that's crazy. That's how I navigated my life. Like, what?
Is flight
Just
always?
like literally flight. And my husband was fight.
Mm,
And so you can kind of see where we butt heads sometimes on things that we didn't agree on. But sometimes it would reverse. He'd want to fight and then I'd want to fight. So it's just like I think it's just marriage, I
yeah,
think. And if you can come back to each other in an understanding way to instead of looking at each other that we're fighting each other, we're fighting the problem instead of each other. And so I think
right.
that's how we had to look at things.
Yeah,
And we're still
we're on
learning.
the same team.
Yeah, we're on the same team and we're still learning that. Um
How long have you guys been together?
it'll be oh shoot. Yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna
I shouldn't have asked that.
20 years.
20?
20 years we've been together. And in 2027, it'll be 10 years we've been married.
Wow. 20. So November was 19 for us. In
Hmm.
November.
Wow. I don't remember. Just kidding. when my well, we got together.
No, honestly, like I always I know like we have like a day where we started dating.
Yeah.
I remember that day.
Hmm.
It's our wedding that I always forget that day. That's the day I always forget.
I forget about the day that I'm opposite.
Okay.
But I know it was in June sometime. I don't know. Maybe Mike knows, but yeah, it was kind of a blur. But again, survival mode, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're just
yeah.
living in survival mode.
So
Oh, geez. Yeah, marriage.
it's good though. It's good because it sounds like you just balance each other
Oh yeah,
perfectly.
100%.
Because as you're speaking, I can just picture me and my wife having those same conversations.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes like she's always like the worst is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, but then she always brings up situations that I never even thought about.
Hmm.
So it's like it is a good thing
Yeah.
because I don't ever think anything bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna go 100%
Yeah.
every time. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they say, well, this, and I'm like, I didn't even think of that.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like it's good.
Mhm.
And something I would always say to her was like, what's the worst that could happen if we lose
And then
everything?
she pulls out her list.
Yeah, well, I'm like, the worst thing that could happen is if we lose everything and we move in with your parents and then they cook for us and feed us and
Mhm.
we have no rent and that doesn't
They
sound so
cook for
bad.
us and feed us.
Yeah, man, that doesn't sound
Love
so bad,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. It is, and again, it is balance, and I sometimes I get Mike to see things that he doesn't see, and, um, there are a lot of the times too, he's like comes to me for advice and is like, "How do I do this?" Or, "What do you think about this?" Or,
Mm,
you know, and, I'll tell him my point of view, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't even think of that. No, yeah, I didn't even realize that." Or, um, one thing that he talked about with you was how I like and I don't mean to be this way, but I want him to be the best version of himself. And, he's like, "Yeah, my wife, like, she'll tell me how it is." And so sometimes if he's doing a song or something, like, "How does this sound?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you could do better. I think you could redo that verse or, you need more clarity here." Or maybe I don't know much about music, but I've been around it with him for a very long time. So, and he always comes to me for advice. So, I don't know, I try to give my input where I can, but I'm like, at the end of the day, you're the
Mhm.
professional. I'm not. It's just
Right.
what I hear. And like, it's not that I have an ear for music or anything. I don't know. Sometimes I think that those people that push you help with your growth and they help
Yeah.
your path and your
Like
journey.
honesty is always the best.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes you gotta learn how that person needs it delivered to them, but
Hmm.
like beating around the bush is the worst thing
Yeah.
ever.
Walking on eggshells, all
Yeah.
that. Like,
It
it's
just
like,
causes resentment. It
yeah.
just causes miscommunication. It just causes like blaming. And
Hmm.
it's like, well, you should have understood that.
Yeah.
But why you didn't say it?
Hmm.
Don't read minds.
And
So
that's
it's
one,
like,
yeah, and that's one thing that I'm trying to encourage, not just my husband, but my nieces, my nephews, my son, everybody around me to like use your voice, speak up.
hmm
Because I was afraid to use my voice for a very long time. I still am sometimes because it's hard. Conflict is hard. Um, Meeting people in those challenging times is very hard because you don't know how they're going to react or you don't know how they're going to, whatever it may be. Um, Make you feel in those situations, right? Like it's different. And so I think it comes from a place of when I was a child, I had a lot of people, adults specifically, not like me for some reason. And so still to this day, I'm like, why? Why? Like, I don't understand how anybody can not like a child. Maybe I was a little shit, but I don't know. Like, what the heck? It's wild to me. I could never think, you know what I mean? Like, I could never do that to a child. I could never think that way of a child because a child isn't asked to be brought into this world,
hmm
one thing. Two, they still have to learn how to navigate their own life and they can't pick up on like your feelings. They don't care about your feelings. Like they're not, you're the one needs to teach them. And so growing up, I had a lot of unhealthy role models. And so um, I didn't have a voice. I feel like I wasn't allowed to use my voice in many things. And so I think, that could be really scary and unhealthy and toxic for children because you want them to use their voice. What if they're being
right.
harmed? You know, what if I don't know, the situation could be like a close friend or somebody who is harming them
Mm.
behind closed doors. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like it's really important to encourage those to use their voice,
Yeah.
especially children,
Just
because there's
build an environment where they feel safe doing it.
exactly.
hmm
And that too, that's a huge thing. But I always say like even if you feel like you're not safe in a certain environment, go tell somebody who you feel safe telling
Yeah.
because 90% of the time that person is going to support you. You know, they're going to help you through it and know that you're not alone.
Mhm.
because it was just like, yeah, when I think back to my childhood, I just think about the adults that didn't make me feel safe. And now I'm unlearning all of that and I'm trying to find my voice and I'm trying to use my voice for good and to encourage and to just love my family and friends through it too. Like a huge part of me, I think, that has shaped me because I think of strong women in my life and those matriarchs is like my auntie. My auntie, she lives in Alberta and she's really sick right now. And she's just been a huge support for my mom and our family and just so welcoming. And she's the one that brought that culture into our family's lives too long ago. And she's just like she's such a beautiful woman. But then I think of my 4 best friends who are sisters to me. And a lot of that healing too I've done even one-on-one is through with me one. Like I've always connected and we've always we're able to just sit and talk and encourage each other and support each other through whatever we're going through in life. Like I think it's really important to have those people in your life, and she was the one who encouraged me to use my voice
Mhm.
in times or like whatever it may be, right? If it's work related, family related, whatever. I think it's important that your voice is heard because your feelings matter too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It'd be so I can't even picture you being like that.
No?
No. Like, you seem so like, to me, you seem so powerful.
Hmm.
Like, you seem so strong. I can't even picture you just, like, hiding or,
Mhm.
like, not embracing a little bit of conflict or something like that.
Mhm. Well, thank you for saying that. um, yeah, I just think that maybe I did handle it differently when I was younger, like especially a teenager. Oh my God, was I
Mhm.
ever a crazy, wild teenager? And nobody could nobody could say anything to me because I would be like a wrecking ball.
Mm.
And my mom, my mom always used to call me a motor mouth because I wouldn't stop talking, and I just had so much to say. And I feel like through, I think it has a lot to do with people who are not are in authority positions that I can't find my voice with.
I see.
Hmm. And adults have made me feel that way family wise
Mm.
in my life. And I think that's where that stems from. Um, and then also like, yeah, exactly. Like family members who are just not healthy, who are not fair. Also, like just not wanting to give that energy to them because it's just, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I don't want to deal with that negative energy. And when you're ready to, I guess, embrace your healing journey, I'm open, ready, and willing to talk and hang out and maybe get to know each other again. Like, there's just so much of, yeah, family that have been not very kind
Mm.
to me when I was growing up. And so I think that's where a lot of that stems from. But
Do you ever listen to Gabor Mate?
no.
He talks a lot about like childhood trauma and one he was talking about like the environments you grew up in,
Mhm,
and he said a lot of times accidentally parents create bad environments, not on purpose,
mhm,
but it's like because the person he was talking to was saying how he used to get bullied,
mhm,
and he said, "Well, like how did your parents handle that?" When you and he said, "I never told my parents." So he said, like that's trauma. Like you got you grew up in an environment that you didn't feel like it was safe to tell your parents that you're being bullied
Mhm.
because you were scared of how they would react
Mhm.
to you being bullied. And I'm like, and that guy's like, "Well, my mom's not gonna like that. She listens to all my podcasts."
Yeah.
And he says, like, it's not like a good or bad thing. It just is,
Mhm.
like parents are learning too, and sometimes they learn hard, and like that's family members, because everything stems from when you're a
Mhm.
kid, and lots of the times it is accidentally.
Mhm.
You know, he was saying like there's one lady he worked with who was like extremely overweight,
Mhm.
and it's from this moment her grandma said you have like finish your meal, it's rude not to finish your meal, and that just stuck with her.
Mm.
So then she feels like she has to finish every single meal even if she's full, or else she's being rude, she's
Mhm.
being disrespectful to whoever gave her, and this little thing stuck with her and made her traumatized.
To not waste food.
Right. And
Wow.
it's like these little things. Other than that, her parents were fine, her grandparents were fine. It's like sometimes these little moments just like
Mhm.
stick with you when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like it made me think of like that's so wild.
Yeah, and it makes you think and reflect on the way you were raised
Hmm.
and the environment you grew up in, and it's like, it's it's no fault of their own of the way they grew up, right? Like, I don't blame my mom for the way she grew up or my
Right.
dad. Like, my mom's a residential school survivor, right? And so there's lots of things that were taught to her, obviously, that were not our ways of being Indigenous, and I think, a lot of that had an effect on the way she parented too. Um, Love my mom 1000%,
Hmm.
but she lived in fear her whole life. And so even just going to the grocery store was hard for her to do, those things. So I did live in a very like I lived in a crazy environment. It was chaotic, anxious filled, depressing, like it was so much. I think back to that. Yeah, it was crazy. Um, gonna get emotional here. But it's just I also see the woman that my mom is, and again, with that looking at people through your eyes, I don't see my mom that way.
Right.
I don't see her that way. She freaking persevered and pushed through a lot of crap in her life. She could have just gave up, and I know she wanted to some days, you know? And, I think that's where I get my push from is knowing what she's been through, and she pushed through that, and she's got through it, obviously in a survival state, but, like, I take it in a different way now, and I'm like, instead of being in survival, I wanna do good for myself, like, get my education, build a business, build a good healthy system for my family, right? And so, taking her strength and turning it into different ways that I wanna live my life and not,
Hmm.
um I just don't ever wanna I never wanted to create that environment for my son or my nieces or my nephews. And so, yeah, it's just so much that I see my mom. She's so strong and she's so um she she pushed through what she had to push through to put food on the table and a roof over our heads. And she dealt with a lot. Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. But like my mom was a beautiful person. She is a beautiful person. And I just wish she could see that. I wish she could see herself through my eyes
Hmm.
because she struggles so much with um she struggles so much with thinking that she's not a good mom or she wasn't a good mom or that she didn't do good raising us. And I'm like, you did the best that you could with what you had. And I think for every parent, we always could do better. right? There's
Yeah.
always things that we see or that resonates with us from another person, family, or friend that maybe we're like, oh, I like the way you do that. And then that helps us grow too. And again, it's all about surrounding yourself with those positive people, um, because that also impacts your growth as a person, right? And I am very firm on keeping my circle healthy and happy and kind of small.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've had the four of us, we've been best friends since high school. I'm really grateful for that. And it's awesome to see them grow on their journeys too, because one's a nurse, one's a social worker, one's a teacher. And then here I am in my business field, and I still don't know what the heck I want to do with my life. But it's just cool to see them growing and them navigating their lives and their family. Like one of our friends just bought a house. Like it's so
Mhm.
beautiful to see that. And then the other one, she's a social worker, she's a counselor, but she also does, um, she's a prof. She's like, I never thought I would do this. And it's funny, she's her funny friend in the group. And she's like, I never thought, she just never thought she would like do this. She was, imposter syndrome. She would get those imposter syndrome things too. Like, but we're like, yes, do it. Like, that's how our group is. We encourage each other, do it. Like, do it. I think you do great. And now she's doing it. And she's doing good. So it's just nice to have that strong foundation and friends. I guess they're like my chosen family too. They're also my ceremony family. They've taught me a lot. And I wouldn't be here where I am today without them or my mom, right? And I'm really, and my dad. My dad was very nurturing in the sense of he would baby us a lot.
Mhm.
And so, I often wonder how life would be if my dad didn't get sick and if we would have had him a little bit longer. How would that have been?
Mhm.
And so my older brother had to step up a lot.
How old were you?
Well, I was 5 when he got diagnosed.
Mhm.
Mm. And, like, my mom and dad adopted me. I was adopted at, like, 3 months old,
Mhm.
maybe even younger. I knew my birth mom a little, not a whole lot, but she passed on a few years ago. And so I was just thinking about this the other day and, like, thinking about womanhood and motherhood and, like, sisterhood and all of that. I was just thinking, like, how my biological mom was so selfless. And instead of me seeing it like, "Oh, you gave me up, you're an evil person, how could you give up a child? I could never." But I can't sit there and like, I can't ever sit there and say that. I never felt those feelings towards her,
Mhm.
ever. I, however, I did feel like, I guess, yeah, there was a little bit of anger not knowing who she was. And I think I wanted to know who she was, but she just wasn't healthy, like at all. And so I think about her selfless act in giving me to a person who could provide somewhat a better life than what she could have provided for me. And yeah, I think about that a lot. She was, I could, again, I couldn't, I don't think I could do it because I love my son, but I'm not, but again, I was never in her position.
I think like something that gives me a lot of peace, I guess, with other people is I think about how like everyone just makes the best decision that they have access to
Mhm,
at that time in their journey,
mhm,
you know? Nobody's making a decision because it's gonna harm them or
Mhm.
harm the people they like. It's like that's what they know is gonna get them to the next step in their life, you know?
Mhm.
It's like and some people just have better tools or have had better mentors
Mhm.
or grew up a better way
Mhm.
or an easier way. So their path is just like easier. You
Mhm.
know, their capacity to handle things is easier. So it seems like their choices are better.
Yeah.
But it's just like everyone's so individual. It's like, your mom just made the best choice
Mhm.
in that moment,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to think like that.
It is. It is sometimes, but again, with doing the work on myself too, um, and also like I didn't really know her as a mother. Um, we did kind of grow up around her as like when I was a kid, and I knew her as my auntie,
Mm,
and so I found out not in a good way that she was my mom, and my mom got upset when she found out that I knew because that wasn't anyone's place to tell me but her own. And my mom was waiting and she had a plan to tell me in her own way, right? And so she was really hurt and upset that that news came out to me. And I was only like 6 years old when that happened. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't regret. I don't. I hope that they don't have regrets, or I hope that she didn't regret giving me up. I hope she knew that you know I'm actually like I'm proud of her for doing that because that's a hard thing to do
mhm,
to want to give. And I think that that's unconditional love. I think that that's has nothing to do with her not wanting me. I think she did. She just couldn't do it by herself. And I think that's a pure and true form of unconditional, selfless love to a child. But then I have my mom now who I've seen, again, struggle through all her stuff, but try to provide for us. And even through that, like, when some people are like, oh, I wish I had a better life, or I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. Yeah, it'd be great if I had different things and life was different, but I think it shapes me who I am today and how I am and how I navigate this world.
mhm,
And again, like you're saying about things that are inflicted on you as a child ends up being trauma in your brain. And so I've navigated my life through like those things, like how trauma has affected my journey. And so when I lost my dad, that's when I went to therapy. Took me like 6 tries to find the one that fit, but
right,
that's another thing is like, don't ever give up on just because one person doesn't work doesn't mean that another is not, right? So just keep looking for that person that fits you because they're out there somewhere and they'll help you through a lot. And so when my dad passed in 19, we I got counseling. And so that's when my journey started happening with healing and trying to understand everything because when grief comes, grief hits, it's like it's like this gateway to like all this trauma pouring out of you now. And now you have to deal with it because grief triggers so much in your life. It's crazy. And then I lost my brother 2 years ago now. And that was hard. And he struggled. He was on the streets. He was an addict. And he was like another father figure to me when my dad got sick. He stepped up a lot and provided for helped my mom and supported my mom through every like a lot of stuff like raising me and my sister because my sister also is adopted. She's adopted from the same family as me, not the same mom, but we're adopted from sisters.
Mm,
And so he raised us to be who we are. And I think one thing that I could say for sure that came from him that I try carrying in my life to this day is um, using my voice and standing up for myself and not letting people bully me or make me feel ashamed for being who I am. Or, he was a tough guy. He's a really tough guy. And, but he was like, when I think about it, he was the kind of tough that you had to be tough because showing weakness or crying or emotion for a man is not a man. And so that's the kind of way he grew up. And so I think that's where I learned a lot of my using my voice, but also instead of using his voice, he used his fists.
mm,
And so that alone, I think, is what I'll carry because I know he wanted to. He had so much emotions that he wanted to get out, but he just didn't know how. He didn't have the tools. And he also grew up in an environment that wasn't safe for him to feel his emotions. But yeah, grief is uh grief is a crazy, beautiful, emotional
mhm,
feeling. It's so complex. And I just remember after he passed, I was like in the trenches. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to be in this world anymore. 'Cause losing a sibling is hard. It's one of the most um hardest things because you grow up with that person, right? My dad's death was a little bit different in terms of that he was sick and we kind of watched that longevity of him being so sick.
mm,
But then when my brother just I knew his struggles. I seen his struggles. Um and I couldn't help him. And that's the hardest part I think too. And I carry that a lot with me. I know that's something that right now I'm trying to work on is like his death had nothing to do with me. It was all what he struggled with in his life. But yeah, I do carry that sometimes. Like it's hard to feel not guilty about those things. Maybe I could have did better. Maybe if I just I don't know, maybe if I picked up the call that day and maybe if I wasn't so busy, I have those things and I have those thoughts of when he passed. But I'm trying to learn not to carry that because it has nothing to do with me. Because everything that he struggled with in his life and then on his journey.
mhm.
Yeah. So grief is a new thing that, well, I wouldn't say new, but I think grief is different too for all people. And I think my dad's grief was different in the sense that you're almost watching somebody who is alive deteriorate. And that's a different grief too, versus something so sudden and so quick.
Right.
And so those two griefs are just kind of different. To navigate them was a very, very different.
Mhm.
I'm still trying to navigate my brother's grief, and that grief is never going to go away.
Yeah.
Always going to stay with you forever. Um, but I think that I always hear people say it's a form of love.
Yeah, it's like the risk you take for loving someone so much
Hmm. Yeah,
that they might not be here.
yeah. So trying to navigate that right now. It's just been a journey for sure. And then that comes into like why I want to do what I want to do to help people. He's a big part of that. Um, if I can help people and like try to be proactive than reactive, I want to be able to help people at the beginning of their you know the stages of life, trying to figure out their adulthood, trying to figure out all those things and support them in that way. Because I think mental health is such a big thing that is in our communities that is um, unfortunately overlooked. And people are, I hear so much talk about how are we going to fix this? How are we going to do better for our people? How are we going to get less drugs in our communities? And how are we going to, prevent that? And I think it's mental health. That's where we need to start. Because if we keep going at the rate that we're going, we're going to keep losing people. And every day that I go downtown and I drive the streets, like it's, you see them younger and younger and younger. And it's so freaking sad.
Mhm.
Like some of them are as old as my son and they're just babies. They shouldn't be out there. And so that is where I want to somehow figure out this way of supporting our communities in terms of mental health. But there's steps that I need to do in order to get there. And so it'll take me a little bit longer, but the idea is there, the vision's there. And I can't wait to see it come into fruition and have that kind of be stabilized for community support.
Is that like a 5-year goal, a
I think
10-year
so.
goal?
I think so. Probably 5 years, would I would say. I have a lot of the ideal, I don't know. I think yeah, I have a lot of the ideology behind it in terms of like what I want that to look like. I do have like the bones of my business structure and plan, but I need the education. So I might have to go back to school.
Mm.
Another 5 more years. Just
Really?
kidding.
Actually?
Well, for me, because well, so Mike and I always had this dream of like, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna get my education, and then once he's done, or no, once I'm done my schooling, he's gonna go back to school. And that's kind of where we're at now. It kind of just happened so nicely where he was able to go back to school. And then I got this really good job that I asked for. And so now he's working towards his educational goal. And once he's done, I plan to go back and maybe do something. I could either go for my master's and an MPP or an MPA, probably MPP, um, or I just completely take the whole social work route and
Mm.
do it that way. Because if I do my master's, I can get I can get the public policy standardized way of thinking versus like the mental health. And really what I think we need is that mental health right now. And so there's different routes that I can go through right now. That's gonna be a journey. But I'm not gonna give up.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think, when you were talking about your best friends and, one's a teacher, one's a
Mhm.
social work, and you're on this entrepreneurial path,
Mhm.
figuring things out. And I think that is good because I don't think the what is as important as people think it is.
Mhm.
Everyone's always saying, "What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What?" Even with business, what business am I gonna start?
Mhm.
And it's like that. I don't think the what matters. I think the why matters. You know, like why do you do things? If you want to help people, if you want to, whatever it is, maybe you just want to be rich.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to just set your family up.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different things that you can do.
Mhm.
There's so many ways to help people. There's so many ways to bring culture to like there's so many like the what and the specifics of the what don't matter
Mhm.
as much as you think they do, you know? I know for me, like, I like helping people,
Mhm.
but if I help somebody get fit,
Mhm.
or I help somebody start a business, or I help somebody with a budget plan, I feel just as good doing all those
Yeah.
things. It's like I just like helping people
Mhm.
in any way that I can. And even with people who come on here, I almost never talk about what they do
Mhm.
because I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I care about why they do it.
Mhm.
I want to know what's in here, what they're thinking,
Mhm.
what drives them, why they didn't quit when most people quit,
Yeah.
why, they had a rough childhood. Why did they get up and dust themselves off?
Mhm.
And, when lots of people wouldn't. That's what I care about.
Mhm.
And I think that's something just to keep in mind,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I think that's how I'm learning how to change and shape my thinking of, like you said, what instead of thinking what is the what is my purpose?
Yes.
And so I didn't know that until, until I had been hit with my brother's death like that. I knew there was mental health things that I wanted to support community with, but I just didn't know how and what that would look like. And sometimes it comes to people, sometimes it doesn't. And mine came to me through such an unfortunate, tragic way. And I think those things still, even though they're hard, they still shape you and they still kind of encourage you and help you with navigating your vision, your life, the way you want to live,
Mm,
all those things. And even today, still to this day, I'm still like, what is that purpose?
right.
Why is that purpose? So I'm still trying to figure that out. But I know there's a lot of people that are in my position that maybe have their education and don't know what to do with it. Like I know people who have a teacher degree or
Right.
whatever, and they completely don't even utilize it now. There's
I think
they
that's
just change it.
I think that's honestly every industry.
Mhm.
There's so many degrees not being used
Yep.
right now. And
Yeah.
it's hard too because you go to school when you're 20. Like when you're 30, you're not that 20-year-old anymore.
Exactly.
So that's tough.
And things change. Yeah. And school takes so long. It does, but
Now you feel like you're trapped because
yeah.
you went to school for 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I have to use this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't.
Mhm.
You don't have to. Just take that as experience or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Cuz I feel like not everybody's journey is going to be so black and white.
No.
And I also feel like your education isn't gonna be black and white either, because you can change in a split second, like, "Oh, maybe I don't like this anymore, and I just wasted so much time doing it." But I think for me, business was more of like a security thing, like locking myself in. If I ever needed to fall back on something or work for somebody, I'd have that, right? Um, so to me, it was like, how can I provide something that'll be useful no matter what I do? And I think my business degree helped me with that and securing now that I have that degree, I can secure a job easilier, right?
Right.
Versus like not having an education and then wanting to be an entrepreneur and, you know, not that it's not that that's like a bad thing. It's just what if my business fails? And then there's those little anxious thoughts that come
Yeah,
in. What
yeah,
if my
yeah.
business fails? I'll have this education to fall back on or whatever it may be. But I'm also trying not to think about what if my business
Yeah.
fails.
Because sometimes that kind of thinking is what makes you stops you from actually going
Yes.
all into something.
Yes, and that's a lot of what I struggle with.
Yeah.
And, I just have to do it. I just have to
Yeah.
be like Cole. Just kidding.
Don't. Don't. That's a lot of
No, I
head
couldn't.
trauma.
I
A
can
lot of.
again, I couldn't, but, I just think that, yeah, it just whatever works for people, right, is just your journey is your journey, and
Mhm.
what makes you you is is what matters, but also, like, be aware. Be aware of the person you are. Be aware of how you make people feel. Be aware of how you do things in your life, whether it's business oriented or friends, family. Like, just always be aware of the impact you have
Mhm.
on everybody and everything you do.
That's good.
Yeah.
We're at an hour 15.
Oh, damn. Didn't even seem like an hour.
I know. See, it's easy.
Yeah.
Nothing to it.
I know. I just came in feeling real anxious.
Yeah. No, that was good. Um, yeah, I think we'll probably call it there, but, that was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so
You're
much for
awesome.
having me. You're awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, ever since I met you, I'm like, I bet she has something to say, you know? And you do. You have a lot of, um, I guess, life experience, you
Mm,
know? And you've put in effort to, like, work on yourself, you know? And even, like, with letting go,
mhm,
you know, I can see how you talk about letting go. You know, you're not there yet,
mhm.
but you want to be,
Oh, absolutely.
and you're just, like, working on it. And it's like, that's how it goes, you
Yeah.
know? Nobody's quite figured out everything yet,
Mhm.
you know? And it's like, it's a good you're in a good place. I think you're doing cool things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Is there any last thing you wanna say?
I don't know. Just heal. Heal through all heal through all the stuff that makes you troubled. Cause I guarantee you you're gonna feel so free.
Mm,
Healing is so freeing. And just embrace it and come into the person that you're meant to be. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank you for
you.
having me. Nananas, come on.
We'll do this again
Yes,
sometime.
for sure.